What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be covering a different way to play Warlock. In our last video, we covered Torture Mastery using Curse of Pain and Power of Sacrifice, and exactly how that works, the best ways to do it. We even covered like different builds you can run with spells and perks, as well as like equipment you can run as well. In this one, we're going to be doing the Hydra Lifedrain method on Warlock. Alright, so now that we're in the dungeon, let's go over exactly what the Hydra Lifedrain method is. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You just drop down Summon Hydra, and you bring Lifedrain as well, and you Lifedrain off of the Hydra. It's pretty self-explanatory. One thing to keep in mind though, when you are Lifedraining off Hydra, you cannot move, because if you move while you're Lifedraining, it'll stop. Let's show you here. It cancels the minute you move. And if you get off line of sight on target, it'll also cancel just like that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But the main difference here between the Hydra Lifedrain, as far as that compared to the Torture Mastery, is a little bit different. Because the Torture Mastery scales mostly off of magical healing. The Hydra Lifedrain method actually scales off of damage. Magical damage, true damage, additional damage. So let's show you exactly what I mean right here. So we're going to cast a few times to get our health a little bit low. Alright. We have the Hydra. We're going to drop Lifedrain. As you can see down here, we're healing about 6 to 7 a tick. Pretty consistently. But I brought a magical staff. This spellbook only does 2 magical damage. This magic staff does 5. So if we go over that again, and you see I'm at 93, we're going to see exactly how many health per tick we get here. We get 9 per tick. So you heal substantially more when you have more magical damage. But this isn't the only thing that you could do to increase your damage, of course. You could have additional magic rings. You can have true magic rings. You can have necklaces with true magic base. All those things would contribute to the amount of heals that you get. Which makes this build really nice, because instead of prioritizing magical heal on your rings or necklaces, you can substitute that with, additional magics. You can actually do more magic with your spells as well. Another reason why the Hydra Lifedrain method is good, say you're getting pushed here by somebody, right? Let's go around this doorway. You're getting pushed by somebody. You can turn around and drop Hydra on door, and you can block your opponent from coming after you. And then you can curse above, or you can stand behind the wall, and you can Lifedrain so they can't hit you. The Hydra Lifedrain method is really nice. The Hydra itself is a really good spell. It helps you in like a lot of different situations. I'll be showing some PvP here in a little bit, so you guys can know exactly what I mean. But, this method is pretty self-explanatory. The only thing that you gotta keep in mind is the amount of heals you get off the Lifedrain is by the damage that you do, the magical damage. But, oh, look at that. We have some company. Looks like they're running. Watch out for them traps, because it is a ranger. You can always jump over these traps. Alright. They are in spawn right here. This is a great way to use Hydra. Hydra door. They're stuck in door. From here, you curse them. When Hydra's about to go out again, you drop another one. And essentially, these guys are just stuck in this room. There's nothing they can do about it. All 3 of these guys are stuck. There's 2 dead. We got 1 more in here. And then that's right there is when you can push in. And that's all 3 of them. And that is why Hydra Lifedrain can be extremely strong. Especially when a team is trapped inside of a room like that. There's nothing you can really do about that. Especially when you can keep spamming Hydras. Also, another thing to keep in mind, getting additional magic damage and, doing more damage with magical power, whether you get more will, get more spell power, whatever you want to get to do more, to heal more off your Lifedrain. Also, another way to heal faster is if you have knowledge, because the more knowledge you have, the faster your casting speed is. And the faster your casting speed is, the quicker the ticks are on Lifedrain, as you can see here. You hear the little ticks? The more knowledge and casting speed you have, the quicker that is. So eventually, if you get a really juicy kit, say over like 30 knowledge, or 30 knowledge, 30 will, you could heal up fully from empty to full in probably 3 or 4 seconds. That's what makes this build extremely strong. So a quick tip when using Hydra, if you're struggling, like you're messing up your Lifedrains or something, when you summon the Hydra and you want to Lifedrain off it, aim for the head, because if you aim for the base, it won't count. You actually have to aim for the body or the head of the Hydra for it to actually register the life drain. Alright, so now that we've gone over the Hydra life drain method, exactly how to do it, how it scales, since it scales with damage, we're going to go over the perks here. We're going to, you know, pick out the best perks that I typically would go with when I'm running Hydra life drain. So first I'm going to go over a big misconception here. I see a lot of people run this build with Vampirism, since, you know, Vampirism's gained 20% magical healing bonus. Hydra life drain actually does not scale with Vampirism, because Hydra life drain only scales with damage. And magical healing only works outward. It doesn't work inward. When you're using Hydra life drain, you're sucking the health from them. You're doing damage. That's why magical healing doesn't scale. So this actually does not work. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. But I've already tested it. Everyone who plays Hydra, you know, on Warlock, they all know this. Vampirism does not work. But one perk I definitely would run, Malice. This right here is a really good spell to run because, you know, obviously this gives you more will, and will gives you more spell power. And the more spell power you have, the higher damage you do. The higher damage you do, the more you heal. So this, in general, is number one you should be running on this build. Another one you also should be running, in my opinion, is Dark Reflection. Dark Reflection is really nice. I think in a lot of different Warlock builds, Dark Reflection is probably like one of the best perks to run. Especially now since they buffed it from 0.5 scaling to 0.75, it's really strong. You know, this is like the majority of the caster Warlock builds you're going to want to run Dark Reflection because you are a little squishier and you're going to be having high magic damage. So when they hit you, they're going to deal damage to themselves even more, because you have a lot of magical damage with these builds. And as far as the other two perks here, you know, there are hybrid builds you could do with Torture Mastery, but the issue is, say you were to throw Torture Mastery on, right, and you go over to Hydra. Hydra costs 24 with Torture Mastery on instead of 8, because Torture Mastery triples the amount that Warlock spells cost. So typically, I wouldn't run this hybrid build unless you have a really good kit with high magical healing as well, because, you know, you could run this and then you do, you know, Curse of Pain, Power Sacrifice on your Hydra and Life Drain when you need to, but it just costs so much for this build. I don't recommend starting players to use Torture Mastery unless you have like really good gear to supplement that. But, you know, in my opinion, I like to run Anti-Magic. Anti-Magic's really good. It helps you get an upper hand on other Warlocks or Wizards. It's really good magical damage reduction. So this is really nice, because a lot of the time, the majority of struggles that you have as a caster Warlock is against other mages or against rangers, or even fighters with like bows. But other than that, if you play correctly, you can cook pretty much any fighter melee class, even barbarians if you play correctly. So this is pretty much solid 3 perks I'd run. The last one, you can kind of decide what you want to do. If you're going to be more melee based, you could run Shadow Touch, you know, for a little bit more healing as well. You do 2 true magic damage and heals you for each hit. You could do Dark Enhancement, 10% dark magical damage. But remember, this perk only works on certain spells. It only works on Bolt of Darkness. It only works on Ray of Darkness. And it actually does work on Eldritch Shield, because Eldritch Shield scales with your magical damage. So, you know, that'll help as well. So you could run that. Other than that, there's not really many perks that would go well with here. Immortal Lament, this perk in particular actually comes in clutch sometimes, because sometimes you'll be in a really big fight and you'll get down to like, I don't know, you get down to like 6 HP, right? And you're so low that you can't even cast Hydra, otherwise you'll kill yourself. But when you run this perk, Immortal Lament, you'll never kill yourself with your own spells unless you accidentally hit yourself with like a Power of Sacrifice. Then the damage over time would kill you, but the initial cast of the spell won't kill you with Immortal Lament on. So this actually can come in clutch. So, you know, you could either use Immortal Lament as your 4th perk, you could use Shadow Touch, you know, all these other perks don't really matter. Soul Collector could be really good, especially since they kind of changed it a little bit. Before, Soul Collector would give you 10 Darkness Shards. So, well, first let's go over exactly what Soul Collector is. Soul Collector is, each time you get the final blow on like an enemy, either a mob or a player, you get one soul, or you get 1 Darkness Shard. Each Darkness Shard you have gives you a dark magical damage bonus. They just changed it. So now instead of 10 Darkness Shards, you get 5. In each darkness shard that you have, you gain 20% dark magical bonus, right? So if you have a maximum of 5 darkness shards, you'll do 100% dark magical bonus, which is insane. But remember, it's a one-time cast. Say you have your maximum of 5 darkness shards. If you cast one bolt of darkness, your bolt of darkness is going to do 100% dark magic damage, but then your shards go away. So it's a one-time, like, super strong attack. So if you hit them, you can, like, one-tap people if you have the right build with it. It's pretty insane. So you could run that if you want to do more damage, or, you know, there's a few other options here. But, you know, I just want everybody to know Vampirism does not work. So do not use Vampirism. Curse Mastery, it's not going to really do anything because, as I said in the previous video, Curse Mastery actually doesn't increase your damage on your curses. It just extends the duration of the curse, so you'll heal more. But since you're not using Torture Mastery, you won't even be healing off it anyway. So this is obsolete. Undead and demon damage, I mean, this isn't that good. I mean, maybe if you're struggling to do PvE, Infernal Pledge could be good for beginners, for sure. But, you know, I wouldn't recommend that. But other than that, you know, I would highly recommend Soul Collector, Dark Enhancement, or Immortal Lament as your last spell, or perk, for sure. And as far as skills go, of course, you're going to need Spell Memory. We're not going to get into anything crazy, since you're running a Hydra Lifedrain build. I just, for all caster builds, I highly recommend Phantomize, because there's a lot of situations where you're getting pushed and you're just absolutely cooked if you don't put your book away, hit Phantomize, and just reposition. So I would highly recommend this. But you also could run Blow of Corruption. Blow of Corruption could, you know, catch somebody off guard. Or you could put your Hydra, and you could do kind of like a weird play where you throw your Hydra, you curse them a few times, then you pop your BOC, you jump over Hydra, and you can try and get a one-tap on somebody. That's also a move. But yeah, I'd recommend new players to run Phantomize, essentially. Right, so we got the spells, we got the skills, we got the perks, and we have the playstyle down. So next we need to know what equipment should, you know, we'd be bringing for this. Since Lifedrain Hydra does not skill with magical healing, we will not need to bring Cultist Hood. You do not need to bring Mystic Gloves. You need to bring everything that gives you more knowledge and more will, so you can have faster casting time for the faster ticks, and more will so you have more damage, so your heals are more. So obviously, let's start from the bottom here. Occultist Boots will always be needed here. Always bring Occultist Boots. Pants, you can do one of two things. If your knowledge is a little low, you can bring Leather Chouses. But if your knowledge is decent, if the ticks are going quick enough, and you want more damage so the health is more, and you want to do more damage from your spells, you can bring Leather Leggings, because Leather Leggings have will. So, you know, whatever you like to run, you know, you can pick between those two. As far as the gloves go, you know, you could run Mystic Gloves for the magical power, because that does help you do more damage. But I would recommend running Rawhide Gloves for the knowledge, because typically I get good Rawhide Gloves for the knowledge, and I use that mostly for my knowledge in the kit, so it scales. You know, the casting speed scales higher, so my ticks are quicker. I normally run Leather Leggings for the damage, Rawhide Gloves for the spell casting speed for faster ticks, and then the chest piece, you can kind of decide which, you know, it depends on what you're missing on your build. All these builds can vary, right? If you want more knowledge for more casting speed, you can run Oracles. That's always a thing. If you want to be faster and you need more HP, you could run an Adventurer's Tunic. If you think you're going to be in close combat and you want more health or more strength, you can either run Occultist Robe for vigor, or you can run Occultist Tunic for strength for more damage. There's that. And as far as the hat goes, you could wear a wizard hat for more magical power to do more damage and to heal more. You definitely could. I don't see a lot of people doing that, but it's definitely viable. Or you could run a Shadow Mask for agility, and there's no move speed penalty on the Shadow Mask, and you get agility, so it actually increases your move speed by a decent amount. So that's technically what I would recommend. I normally go with Shadow Mask because I like to have a little bit more movement, and you know, in like a regular Squire kit, I'll probably not run Will. I'll probably run Leather Chouses for more knowledge, because your spellcasting speed and your knowledge is pretty low off like a base kit. But, you know, you could obviously start, you know, doing different things here. You know, once you actually start getting blue, purple gear, you can, you know, mix and match some of the stuff. You could also take off the Oracle Robe if you have enough knowledge. You could also run Mystic Vestments, because Mystic Vestments is will. So, you know, these three that you can kind of switch around, you know, depending on what you need. You just got to look up what you're lacking and just switch it around based on that. But that's pretty much self-explanatory for that. As far as the weapons goes, the primary weapon, like your melee weapon, can be pretty much whatever you want. You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to run Falchion with the shield. I don't know, just for that little bit of range. Chris Dagger's not really it, because sometimes you do need to hop over your Hydra and get a hit off. And shield definitely can help you in case, you know, Hydra accidentally starts shooting at you because it aggroes somebody behind you. You can put your shield up and block it for a second. That also comes in clutch. That's just what I run. You can obviously run whatever you want. And as far as like the Spellbook or Crystal Ball, Magic Staff, it all depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to heal quicker and deal more damage, Magic Staff is the move. But if you want faster casting, Spellbook's the move. And be able, well, actually, I'm not sure if the spell casting speed is actually quicker. I believe it is a little quicker on Spellbook. I know the Magic Staff, it has like a swing animation when you cast it, and I think that slight movement is slower than just casting the spell with your hand. But not only that, the Magic Staff is slower. It's -20, Spellbook's -10. So, personally, I wouldn't run the Magic Staff unless you have like a really good, like a purple one. Then you could do some really good damage. I would just run the Spellbook just because it's quicker. And I think when you're casting spells, you need to be quick as a typical caster. But yeah, that's pretty much the build I like to run. Yeah, I hope that was, you know, that was explained well enough. You know, I'm kind of new to these explanation tutorial videos. If you guys ever need any, like, have any questions, you know, you can drop a comment and I'll respond as quickly as I can. But that's pretty much it when it goes to Lifedrain Hydra. It's really fun. It's my favorite way to play. It's really strong too. You can get yourself in like 1v2, 1v3 situations, and you can actually win, like you saw in that previous clip. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video here. I'm gonna drop some PvP at the end, so you can kind of see exactly, you know, get a little gist of how you should be playing with Lifedrain Hydra. But yeah, we got the Discord link in the description. If you want to hop in the Discord, we got a lot of community members. Everyone likes to, you know, have fun. If you need like LFG, there's a bunch of people in there that's down to play with you. Or if you need help, any tips, we got a bunch of people always helping out. And we also run a certain tournament every Sunday. So if you want to hop in the tournaments, they're for all skill levels. You're welcome to do so. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to get to the PvP. Hope you liked the video. Make sure to hit the like button.